We begin in Ukraine, where President Zelensky has accused Moscow of crimes against humanity after fresh Russian strikes battered the country's already failing electricity grid. Addressing an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council requested by Kyiv, Mr. Zelensky said Russia had been methodically devastating cities with indiscriminate attacks, hitting residential buildings, schools, transport and hospitals. These are pictures of the aftermath of some of those attacks which triggered nationwide alerts. The Ukrainian energy system has been left in tatters and millions have been subjected to long periods without electricity after weeks of Russian bombardment.
Ukraine proposes that the Security Council adopts a resolution condemning all forms of energy terror. Let's see if anyone in the world, along with Russia, can say that terror against civilians is supposedly good.
The US has increased its support, saying it wants to give Ukraine what it needs to defend itself. According to the White House, that means an additional $400 million security assistance package. That will include additional munitions for surface-to-air missile systems known as NASAMS. There will also be heavy machine guns, and there will also be more supplies designed to help deal with the winter cold, including heating fuel, generators and shelter repair materials. Russia is making no apology for its current military tactics. Here's Moscow's ambassador to the United Nations.
To weaken and destroy the military potential of our opponents, we are conducting strikes with precision weapons against energy and other infrastructure, which is being used for the purpose of military supplies of Western weapons to Ukrainian units.
To give us an idea of what life is like with power cuts in Ukraine, here's more from our correspondent Jessica Parker, who's in Kyiv.
Smoke clouds signalling destruction has come again to Kyiv. This is hundreds of miles away from the front line, but here, this battle also costs lives. In a town just outside Kyiv, people's homes and a nearby school felt the force of these strikes. Just hours later, the fire's out, but the daylight's gone. Evacuations in the dark.
We heard rockets flying, and then we heard a loud explosion. A colleague saw a red light. In our educational center, windows and doors blew out, the ceiling fell.
In these freezing temperatures, homes have been left without roofs, apartments without windows, people without a place to live.
We are evacuating people from the building that was damaged. Those who need to sleep somewhere, we are taking them to a hotel where they can stay as long as they need. There will be food and heating there.
That bus is just leaving, taking residents who can no longer stay in their homes, perhaps because of the damage, but also there's no power here. The only reason we can see anything at the moment is because of the lights coming from the emergency vehicles, fire trucks and police cars. People here, there's a lot of activity, but they just pass you like shadows.
Here and in many places, the light of a torch may be all they have. As today's strikes forced power stations to shut down, critical infrastructure again appears to have been Moscow's target. If this is an effort to break the will of Ukrainians, they help each other on. But it's a painful struggle. My windows and walls flew away, she says. Don't cry, says her grandson. Everything will be fixed. It will be better. This is driving through a capital city in the early evening, but look around. Off the road, no lights. The country's energy system had already been attacked. Now the race against winter to repair it just became even harder. Jessica Parker, BBC News in Kyiv.
And just a note to say that it's not only Ukraine which is being affected by Russia's air strikes. Nearly 90% of neighbouring Moldova was left without electricity as well. Although the country wasn't directly hit, Moldova's foreign minister said they have traditionally relied on Ukraine and Russia for energy and are unsure because of the ongoing conflict where their power will now come from.